Hello out there, it's Dr. Jonathan Ellerby with another 12 at 12. It's another day in this monumental time in human history as millions of us stay at home and wonder, what the heck are we doing? And what the heck will we be? How have we created this? And what will we do with this? So if you want to learn more about who I am or what I'm up to, you can check out jonathanellerby.com. I'm actually giving away a free book right now, totally free, no strings attached. It's also posted on my Facebook page. But today I want to dive right in and get to talking about a model of wellness that I actually developed last year. And it emerged out of my travel work with people. And what's amazing about it is that as it became more and more clear to me that this picture, this model, this map is the foundation of, for lack of a better word, lasting resilience and true wholeness. The irony is that I have always found it best or easiest to teach it while traveling, and that's why I expanded my work to Mindful Wellness Travel, a company that was planning to take people around the world to discover these principles. The irony, however, is now that we're stuck at home, it seems these principles are perhaps even more illuminated, even more essential. And that's what we're going to cover in just a moment. So let's take a deep breath together. Let's just kind of settle in, catch our breath, and open our hearts and minds for where we're going. Big kind of sigh, just sort of breathing out, breathing deeply. Connecting your awareness with the stillness and the silence inside, letting go of the busyness of your mind, your emotional world, just tuning in to the quietness that we all carry. The great mystic and poet Kabir wrote, "Inside this clay jar, there are meadows and groves and the one who made them. Inside this jar there are 7 oceans and innumerable stars, acid to test gold, and a patient appraiser of jewels. Inside this jar the music of eternity and a spring flows from the source of all waters. Listen, my friend, my beloved Master, Spirit, God lives inside." The reason why I chose this reading, aside from just being very pretty, is the fact that as I've been working in the field of wellness and spiritual growth professionally for over 25 years, which is a long time actually, I've always struggled with the term spirituality. And the reason why I struggle with it is partly because I think it's been used poorly by many people. I think it's been commoditized, sometimes in ways that don't serve it. But I think there's also a strange kind of artificial division that the word spirituality implies or creates between that which is spiritual and that which is not. So there's a catch-22, because if we want to talk about the category of spirituality, meaning, purpose, the ultimate nature of things, it's helpful to have a word that says that that's what we're talking about. And yet the way the human mind works, that when you hear a book is spiritual, a person is spiritual, a place is spiritual, it immediately sets up a kind of implication that there's somewhere or someone or something that's not. when I travel with people, what awakens them to the wholeness of who they are, to the deep connection of spirit that lives within us all, and the ever-present energy, love, and wisdom of spirit, is not a religious practice, a spiritual philosophy, or any one thing. It is simply about embracing life itself with an open heart and an open mind, a willingness to listen. Now, when we slow down and with purpose, intention, and presence bring ourselves into a deeper relationship with life as it is, then we discover that life has its own intelligence, that life can answer questions, that life can heal wounds, that life can restore a sense of emptiness or even a loss of love. Life, or spirit, is all that we need to reclaim all that is missing. For it is the same in life that lives in us. And so, when we engage life with love, with openness, with curiosity, and with deep mindful listening, extraordinary things are revealed. But more specifically, what I have discovered is that there are some specific things that we reclaim, some specific things that are revealed, and I started to map them out, and some of you have seen or heard these 6 items before. What you'll notice in particular about these 6 that I'm very quickly going to give you an overview about is that they are all intrinsic to the natural flow of life, and they are almost antithetical to the modern world of imbalance, digital obsession, and distraction. Now, I get there's an irony because we're doing this online and we're doing this digitally. But the point is that if you learn to slow down and listen to life as it is, it will reawaken these 6 principles in yourself. These 6 dimensions, aspects, qualities in yourself, qualities in your life. And when you embrace these 6 aspects, you will find that you carry all the medicine you need for the imbalance, the distraction, the chaos, the feeling of disconnection, or even the digital overwhelm in your life. In fact, the very way that I came upon these 6 principles was by taking a look specifically at what human experiences can the digital world never fully replace or replicate. So this is an extraordinary moment in history because we are almost all entirely being fed by the digital world. And yet, what I'm inviting you to consider, what I'm praying for actually for you, is that you would discover in this time of solitude, in this time of retreat, in this time of things not being normal, that there are things, there are aspects of who you are that have been forgotten. And if anything, I hope that our digital world will remind you to reinvigorate your connection and your embrace of these elements. So first of all, we have 3 of the life or self elements that are externally oriented, and then we have 3 that are internally oriented. The 3 external relationships that we want to cultivate again are 1, our relationship with nature, to have a deep, honoring, intimate relationship with nature where we listen, we connect with nature on multiple levels, we invite nature to be a part of our life every day. The second, sensuality. How do we connect with our senses? Literally our senses, not just thought, not just emotion, but what about sound and smell and taste and touch and all these beautiful ways we can experience wisdom and beauty in life without any words at all? We must continue or begin to explore our sensuality, the sense dimension of who we are, and finally, community. Have we lost sight of what it means to have intimacy with people that are not lovers or family? What does it mean to invite intimacy not only with small groups or special communities, but in some way with all human beings? And certainly, these three things are being invited into our lives right now. And I dare say it is the absence of these three things that in many ways have led our world to this very vulnerable moment. But then we're going to look at three internal things. We have intuition, energy, and emotion. And it's interesting to me that these three internal elements are a part of every human being. We are all always at some level aware of these three things, but so few of us pay much attention to them. Our emotional world is a huge part of how we decide anything, how we relate to anything, how we see and perceive anything. And yet, there's no education about emotional well-being in school. There's no curriculum around emotional intelligence in high school. One of the most important things we can understand about ourselves, what keeps us stuck, and what robs us of our greatest capacity is our relationship to our emotional world. And yet we have so little competency and dialogue. And so it's time to reclaim our relationship to the fullness of our emotional lives. Energy. We are all energy beings, and we all sense energy on many levels and in many ways. We sense the energy between people. You can even go down a path in the park right now, and someone can have their mask on, and you're keeping your distance, and you can still feel if this person is in fear, if they're relaxed, if they're open-hearted. You can barely see this person's face, and you're not even near them. You can still feel the energy. We feel the energy change in our neighborhoods, in our stores, in our cities because of the lack of movement. We take for granted our sensitivity to energy, but it's absolutely an essential part of being human and another aspect of self to reclaim. And finally, intuition, maybe even the heart of all of this, intuition. The fact that we don't need screens, we don't need books, we don't need ideas or teachers to bring us closer to truth. Life is speaking to us through a million voices, through a million experiences, through our senses, through our emotions, through our connections, through nature. Intuition is the ability to know things without thinking about them. Intuition is the knowing that arises from somewhere deeper than thought or emotion. And if we use this moment in our day, in our life, in history, for our species as a collective to reclaim intuition and these extraordinary and essential elements of being human, then we will know wholeness again. We will live with hope again, and we will have all the resources we need to make the kinds of decisions in our personal lives, in our communities, and in our world that will create resilience, abundance, and balance for all. It's possible because all this is as natural as breathing and sleeping. This is who you were born to be. This is who you already are. To find these 6 elements again is simply a matter of remembering our wholeness. So thank you for your time. I hope to see you soon. Don't forget to check out the free book. I love you. Bye-bye.